We've had this unit a little over 4 months now and progress has been steady. We bought possibly the cheapest modified Porsche Cayenne on the planet for £2,000. But that didn't come with its issues. The boot didn't open, the air suspension didn't work, the starter motor was on its way out, and there's plenty of bodywork issues. Now, amazingly, I managed to fix the air suspension, I managed to fix the starter motor, and me and Lee managed to fix the boot. But the bodywork and those horrific wheels still need major attention. And that pretty big job is something I simply haven't had time for yet. But hopefully in the coming weeks, this awful bodywork is something that I will be able to sort out. And I haven't decided what to do with these horrible wheels yet, whether to refurbish them back to silver maybe, or whether to get some completely new ones. The problem is, they look too small for the wheel arch for me. However, the front ones are very, very nearly catching on the wheel arch on lock. So I can't go any bigger. I probably need to go smaller wheels, slightly fatter tyres to make them look a little bit better. And I also need to see if I can get some sort of diagnostics tool, because that currently is the car's lowest setting. And well, look at it. It looks like it's in off-road mode. So it definitely needs recalibrating to see if we can bring that suspension down a little bit. Next up, the Focus ST. Now this car belongs to a very good friend of mine. And unfortunately for the car and my friend, it's been parked up for the past 18 months because it was running really rough. In addition to the rough running, we've got some bodywork issues. The wheels look like 50p pieces, which we've now sorted. The brakes were absolutely knackered. New discs, pads and calipers. And this roof, don't even get me started. The vinyl on this roof had been on for around about 14, 15 years. It had cracked. We tried everything. Caramel wheels, hammer and chisel. We just could not get it off. But luckily, I managed to call in a few favours. 4 of us took about 5-6 hours to eventually get all the vinyl off that roof. But as you can see, it has left it a massive pig's ear. So we do next need to get the roof painted and this bonnet painted, along with the mouth, because as you can see, the white paint started to come back through there. And in addition to that, it still needs an MOT, so there is plenty more to do with this car. Next up is our Mark II Ford Focus RS, which I believe, last time I checked, is still by far the cheapest Mark II Ford Focus RS. We paid £14,500 for this 145,000 mile example you see floating just above the Leon Cupra, which I'll come to in a minute. Now luckily for us, when we bought this car, we used today's sponsor Car Vertical to get a car history check. And now using their new report, it's even easier to see all the information that you need. And thankfully, our Mark II Focus RS seems pretty straight. But for you old timers who've been around for a while, you'll know that we owned a Mark III Focus RS in nitrous blue, and I found a report on one, and the same cannot be said for how bad that car was. As you can see, the first 3 categories all check out, but when it comes to damage, it does not look good. It looks like once upon a time, this car was in a pretty bad way. Now these new Car Vertical reports are the perfect tool to give you the information you need on a car you may already own, negotiating powers on a car you're looking to buy, and peace of mind for the buyer on a car you may be looking to sell. So don't get stung with a lemon like we always do. Make sure you head down to the link in the description below and use code EVILGT for your 10% off your Car Vertical report. It isn't just about working on this car. The Ford RS tax is something I have never ever witnessed before. The passenger side was absolutely desperate for a new arch liner because most of it was missing. So I went to Parts Plus, got a price, £660 for a new arch liner passenger side. I nearly fell over. But luckily I was then informed by somebody who owns a Mark II Ford Focus RS, and he said, Ben, don't worry, they are just 2 Ford Focus ST arch liners riveted together. Yes, for 660 quid. So I set myself a challenge and I made a passenger side arch liner, 2 Focus ST arch liners, £70 each, and look at the result. It is bang on, it fits perfect, it looks great, and I saved over £500 doing it myself. But the RS tax doesn't end there. This grille, £700, just for the mesh by the way, not the black plastic surround. The top grille, the little one, £300. The bonnet, cost us about £1,500 in total, including paint. Those vents on their own are £330 each. I mean, who's making this up? But the biggest surprise of the lot were these fog lights, which I found out are also on a Renault Capture, and we got the pair, brand new, Valio ones, for 50 quid. I mean, it just goes to show that it can be done. You don't have to take the piss with the prices of the parts. But in addition to that, recently we went to Collins Performance where we found out that the exhaust is part Mountune, part Miltech, part Mongoose. And it has all been completely bodged to fit, and it still fits horrifically. This sticks out way too far. And luckily, our friends over at Scorpion have sent us a full turbo back decatted system for the Focus RS. Now that part, along with injectors, along with a stage 2 intercooler, will hopefully allow us to get the CP420 tune on this car and have it extra rapid. Which is a good job because it needs to compete with our £3,500 Mark II Leon Cupra K1, which is now ran in after having its engine rebuild with forged rods and pistons, and this is due to be stage 3 with its TTE 480 hybrid turbo and around 400 horsepower. Now that Cupra has been nothing short of an absolute nightmare. The engine alone has cost an absolute fortune. But hey, right, what's the point in buying a perfect car for YouTube? If we'd have bought a perfect car, strapped a turbo to it, made it 400 horsepower, 2 videos, great, yeah, car's mint, 400 horsepower, whatever. So thankfully this thing didn't disappoint, and it's gave us plenty of content because we got to the point where we'd spent that much money already just sorting the engine out that we thought, why don't we make it absolutely mint? We bought some second-hand wheels, had them refurbished and straightened, new tyres. We've had the whole car painted, our amazing headlights done, custom by EM Tuning. We bought new side skirts, had them painted, new rubber seals around the doors and windows. The seat bolsters have been repaired. We've got a new set of ST coilovers. The rear subframe was dropped, sandblasted, powder coated with brand new Powerflex bushes, brand new discs, pads and calipers at the back. The list of parts for this car goes on and on and on. The bill alone from Awesome GTI was close to £15,000. This car is like a brand new. So I am not exaggerating when I tell you that this car probably owes us now, including the price of it when we bought it, close to £20,000 easily. And it's a good job because now it's ready for tuning. Now the backstory to the Yaris, for those who don't know, is that I owned one of these when I was 18, 19, which because of the youthful good looks, it may come as a surprise to you, but that was quite some time ago. Now this car had been sat in a farmer's field for years. It would cost us £1,000. It was a non-runner. And, well, yeah, there's not a lot else to say about it, to be honest. We wanted to, first of all, get it in through its MOT. There was a long list of bits that it needed, and work come to a stop pretty quickly. And that's because it needed some suspension arms and a load of other bits in order to get it through that MOT. And a little while ago, me and Lee made the effort to try and sort that out ourselves. But a funny thing happened. As Lee was trying to get a bolt off one of the arms underneath, it snapped, and his face smacked the brake caliper, and we then just left it and parked it up, and we've not touched it since. But not only that, the idea was to turbocharge this car. I've got the turbo, I've got the intercooler. I have absolutely nobody to help me fit either of those two bits. So if there's anyone out there that's local who knows what they're doing and can help us out and just fancies it for a few beers and a breakfast, then please do let us know, because until then, I genuinely don't have the time to try and sort this out myself. I have this to finish, this to finish, this to finish, this to finish, and unfortunately it's just took a back seat, which is really frustrating, but eventually we will definitely get round to it. And then it's time to talk about another very, very sad day in Evil GT history. And that is quite clearly about our double written off, then crashed again, RS4 Avant. So the previous owner bought this car that had been written off twice, then crashed it again himself, contacted us and said, Ben, I've got this RS4 Avant, it's got brand new brakes and wing backs, I want £5 for it, do you want it? And I thought, well, them seats alone are £2,000, the brakes probably the best part of £1,000, so surely that's a no-brainer. So we took the seats out and put them in the RS4 Saloon, which unfortunately has gone to a new home. We took the brakes off as well and put them on the RS4 Saloon, which then left us with a bit of a predicament with this car. And we asked you guys at home, what should we do with it? Should we strip it completely for parts, down to a bare shell and get rid of it? or do we strip it out and turn it into a track car? And I think it's pretty obvious what the answer was that you lot give, and that was, Ben, turn it into a track car, which is exactly what we did. We've been on track, we've been on Alton Park with it, and to be quite honest, we were expecting this to be very, very average, but it was great fun. A manual V8 with everything stripped out the back of it. We got the back end going. It was brilliant. But as you guys know at home, track day videos don't tend to do amazingly well on YouTube. We enjoy ourselves, but they can be a bit boring to watch. So again, the RS4 van has just stayed in the corner. It has not moved, and unfortunately for us and for you at home, we have sold it. Which is kind of good, kind of bad, because then it frees up a little bit of space in the unit and I'm not sort of surrounded and can't move in a big unit with a load of cars. That then brings us on to my RS3, my daily driver, which I absolutely love. I love the look of this car. I love how it drives. I don't love the interior, but I love everything else about it. And genuinely now, it is the perfect daily driver. It drives so much better than the old one. It goes well. I think it looks more aggressive in my opinion. I just think it's perfect. The one thing that is not perfect about these cars is definitely the interior, but more than that is the price of them. These cars are absolutely not a £65,000 car. But then what car isn't overpriced these days anyway? This car has a set of RD Custom UK forged wheels, which we have customised to put the Kyle Army green in the forged bit, done by Rada International in Manchester. If you need a new set of wheels, make sure you go and check out RD Custom UK. They're such a reasonably priced set of forged wheels, these. There are loads. Go on Instagram, RD Custom UK, go and speak to Glenn. He will sort you out a set of wheels because, well, I cannot fault these, they're amazing. We did the rear disc upgrade because the rear discs were absolutely tiny. I think they were like 310 mil or something. So these are about 350 drilled to match the front carbon ceramics. So they look miles better. And it's also sat on KW adjustable springs, and I think that now sits perfect. And then obviously, look at that. The satin PPF was done by Ultimate Customs, Expel Stealth PPF, Ultimate Customs in Warrington. Anything you need PPF in, go and give them guys a shout. So to be honest, the list of modifications kind of stops there because there's not a huge amount else that you can do with these cars currently. However, thank you very much to Racing Line and OEM Plus for the PCM tuning box that is attached to this car and the carbon intake as well. So this particular RS3 is running about 460 horsepower. You can definitely tell the difference 100%. I jumped out of a standard car straight into mine and the difference is night and day. Well worth it getting the tuning box, but the frustration is that's all you can do at the minute, and it has been the case for, I've had this car just over a year and I had the Sportback just before this one for a few months whilst I waited for this one to come. So it's been probably the best part of a year and a half and you still cannot tune these cars. Now, I've had the suggestion about using the 8V ECU out of the previous generation car, but I don't know if I want to start messing about with stuff like that on a £65,000 car. If I'm going to do something, I want to do it properly. So that's left me in a little bit of a predicament because as much as I love this car, and I genuinely do, you get itchy feet, you want to keep modifying stuff and, well, I can't. So who knows what the future of this car may be. I want to keep it, I really want to keep it, but I'm not too sure. Finances now with this unit's £1,500 a month. So that is obviously stretching the budget massively. I need this unit much more than I need that car, so who knows what's going to happen. And last but not least, the Range Rover. The car that we bought for £2,300. That is, well, it's just sat here and it's broken. The gearbox will go into driving neutral, but won't move, it just revs out. And that's that. Now, I've been told by a few reliable sources that you need a new gearbox, and the gearbox for this is about £1,600 for a refurbished one. The car costs £2,300, so I don't know what to do with it. But there is one last thing that I can try with that car before it goes to the scrapyard, and hopefully there'll be a video coming on that soon, and that is coming from these boxes just here. And for those of you who are new here, you'll probably have seen this, I am sure. This does not belong to us, this belongs to a friend. We are storing it for them because they needed somewhere to put it. And that goes for all of this shite as well. This is getting stored for another friend of ours who was having ladies' troubles, moved out, and then moved back in. So yeah, we've got all of his shit in our unit. So these two things are taking up quite a bit of room, but yeah, we're doing favours for friends. Now I know that probably wasn't the most riveting of videos, but I really do appreciate you guys watching every single video, getting engaged, commenting, liking, everything. Your comments and your suggestions and everything help me so much you wouldn't believe, because genuinely, I have no idea what I'm doing. I wing my way through absolutely everything. So for you guys that keep commenting, keep telling me, do this, look at this, look at that, it helps a lot. So if you haven't already, please do consider subscribing. Please do hit the like, hit the bell, all that kind of stuff. And I will catch you on the next video.